Well, hello there,
Hello.
folks.
Here he is.
We're here, Darren and I live, Face Shift Games. I'm Jason Maselli,
Darren Horrible.
and we have a giant stack of drop drive to show off today, which we are thrilled with.
I can't wait myself.
Oh boy! So a bunch of folks already online with us. Thanks for joining us
Welcome.
this evening. Hope it's not too late if folks are joining from Europe. Thank you. Can you hear us okay? Someone ping us real quick in the chat. Would be great that our voices and audio is working. But we are going to do the full unboxing. Now, we did an unboxing. I did an unboxing myself, so I'm going to have Darren open most of these because he hasn't experienced that yet. But I did an unboxing of what's called the pre-production copies. We did that a few weeks back. What those are essentially digital prints. Like when we first send all of our files to a manufacturer, they quickly pull together a pre-production copy just to make sure that, you know, the orientation of everything's right and the bleeds and all this manufacturing stuff. So that's what we unboxed before. But this is the first time we have the final production copies. These are the same copies you're going to get in your pledges, assuming you're a backer. We haven't seen certain effects like spot UV where the parts of the cover shimmer and shine. We haven't seen the embossing effects and stuff like that. So a lot of this is going to be new for us tonight as well. And looks like we have audio that's working great.
That's good.
Excellent.
All right.
So I think what we decided
Yep.
is we'll start with the mat. I'm going to go to top-down view in a second. But before we do, Darren, what are you most eager to see here tonight? What are you most excited about that you...
Well, a lot of it's just the full out of box experience. Just like opening it up for the first time and then just seeing all of the components out there. I mean, yes, we'll go through them individually, but I know even when I go through other games that we didn't make, you know, just like looking at all of the stuff and pulling it out and just your mind kind of goes to what it's going to be like to actually play the game. And I have a pretty good imagination, I like to think. So it really is exciting for me. It just kind of explodes like the possibilities of what we're going to do. So kind of getting to see that, and then the added part is like imagining what other people are going to do when they go through the same thing. Yeah. So I'm then thinking like, wow, I'm doing this, and then there's going to be all these other people. And like we were just saying before we even opened this up, we were saying, looking at the box, it's kind of interesting looking at the box as if we weren't the ones who actually made it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, wow, that's pretty
This is a great looking game.
Wait a minute, we did this. You know, and it's kind of interesting because, you know, we're so used to seeing it in the digital, but now we're actually seeing it in the physical. And that's I think, I guess, another big part of it is seeing how well our digital on-screen work translates to a physical presence in front of us. So that's, I think, what it is for me. It's just seeing how it relates
the whole thing
to the physical, to the physicality of it, yes.
All right. So they were saying that you sound a little more faint on that side. That's because the microphone's a little further away from you. So we'll just
Rylan.
have you project. Looks like your son is online with
yes,
us.
He is.
Awesome. I think for me, we've done spot UV effects before, like the shimmer on boxes. We've never done an embossing effect, so I'm eager to see that.
Right.
I haven't seen that myself yet. That's on the specialty walls.
Also, wait, didn't we not see the double thick cards, or is that in this part?
I saw those. So they made a mistake where they made them triple thick, and they didn't even need to because we designed them to be double thick.
Right.
So these are now the proper
We actually went to
thickness.
great pains to do
I know.
a lot of math involved with making those things work.
Engineering to make it work the way we wanted. And like you, just seeing everything. This is every single one of our little packs. The deluxe upgrade, the metal coins. We have seen the metal coins, and they're just out of this world.
Also, even before we open it up, I can just tell, like, I love that we did the stitching.
Yes,
it's just like, well, I don't know. Hopefully, the people who like our games know that. I mean, this really, we are really doing this because we love doing it, and we love producing. Whoopsie. We love. I said whoopsie. We love the actual process of like taking, you know, really making a high quality product, and like just seeing like how it, you know, when it actually shows up with the stitching as opposed to just a cut or something like that. Just seeing all the little things that we thought would be important to the product, even if it's a little bit more expensive to do it that way. As far, you know, like, because we're spending so much time doing this, it's almost like if we don't do that, it's like, why bother? If we're just gonna like bang it out, like, why bother? No, we're doing it because we want to really make it as good as we can possibly make it.
Amen. We're not here to just churn out
No.
cheap monopoly clones.
Right.
We're creating premium products.
Right.
That
so it's
is
worth our,
something
so it's worth our
Faceship
time
believes
to
in.
even do it from our perspective.
Amen. Because
All right.
it is a lot of time.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Eventually, we'd
Our-
like to get paid for that time.
Yeah, our families can attest to that,
Our
right?
families can attest. That's true. Really quick before we go to top down. Do it once, do it right. Thank you, Robert. So 2 weeks from now, I'll be out in Essen, Germany. With we'll actually have we're gonna have more designers there than ever before. We'll have Scott, the designer of Drop Drive and Dungeon Drop. We will have Matt Boncha. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. I finally figured that out. Who's the designer of Flutter, which kickstarted earlier this year, and we just sent off the digital files to one manufacturer. We haven't locked in the manufacturer, but we think we have an idea, and we sent those files off. So that's also exciting to get that past that finish line way earlier than we did with Drop Drive. That's for sure. So Matt will be out there, and Greg Skolnick will of course be out there again from the UK. He's the designer of Tavern Tales. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, but like we have this convergence. Tim is one of our future designers for a game that you haven't even heard about yet. He was at Gen Con with us. He'll be hopefully at a future Essen event as well. So anyway, for those who are going, we look forward to seeing you. You can pick up your... I have said you can pick up your pledges at Essen, and that's true as long as customs doesn't screw us. Right now, the 3 pallets from China that have been packaged up specifically for Essen, I just got told this morning that China, before it even exited the country, China's customs flagged it for a random audit. So that delayed the flight out of China, which was supposed to go out today. Now it's going to go out on the 23rd. What does that mean? We're not in the danger zone yet where the inventory won't make it to Essen, but everything else has to go right. Like it can't get flagged for a German customs audit as well. That would just be the worst, scenario.
Now that brings up a good point too about when we start making these schedules, we start telling people like when things are coming out. It is, we only have control over
so much
of it. Essentially, once it leaves our hands, we could get a prototype back, and there's a mistake in it that we didn't know about it. Either we made it or the manufacturer made it, and then that adds some time. And we try to build that into our anticipation of when something is going to come out. But you can only do so much. For example, like when the shipping shenanigans happened from the previous games that we did.
That's why we have shipping shenanigans as a fundraiser.
Now that was like completely, even if you give like a 20 or 30% buffer. No. But
that was a factor of 5. It was 500%
exactly
off in the red.
But then again, we made this, which is actually kind of. But that's something we always do too. Is whenever you've come across like a limitation or some sort of a setback, it's like how can you turn that into something positive?
Yeah.
And that's what we tried to do. So we got our fans involved with this particular the shipping shenanigans product. Like in a lot of ways, some of the cool content that's in here wouldn't have even been made if that didn't happen.
It would definitely not have been.
So because we wouldn't have needed to. So and also like our fans came to help us fulfill part of it. We did our part. We bit a lot of the dust on our end too to make it all come out. But between all of us, we now have this, and we have these products now ready to go.
Indeed. So if all goes well from this point forward, we will have the copies available in Essen for pickup, and about I think like almost 30 of you have said that you're going to be out there, which is awesome. I can't wait to see you all. I really hope to be able to hand you your copies, check your name off the list. So we'll end it there with the intro and say it's all going to go according to plan. So with that, I'm going to switch to our multi-camera view. The first thing we're going to do is unbag the mat so that we can set it up in the main area, and then everything else we unbox here, we're going to start laying out in the main area. And I'm just going to put all these off to the side for now.
So
push that over there.
So I got this here, got that open. Let's see how easily this can... There we go. That comes right out there. And
the mat, ironically, the mat's the first thing we're unboxing here or unwrapping, and that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It actually looks a little more washed out on the camera, but the colors are super vibrant. The darks are nice. This, go ahead. You can explain what a nightmare the art was for this.
It was very, very challenging, and we were both not going to let it go, and in particular, you were not going to let anything go.
I don't let things go.
So the first way we did it, before we had it like as one solid piece, we had to do it so that it could be cut, which would mean that when it was going to be...
it was going to be two pieces.
Two pieces that would have to be the same print, that when you put them side by side, they would still line up in the middle. And we did that. I spent so many hours trying to get that to work. And then I finally did, and we were happy with it. And then we decided, you know what?
We weren't happy.
We're not going to... well, we decided we're not going to do the cut. So now it's all one piece. But what that does, it opens us up the possibility that I don't have to be as exacting with like having this part here line up with this part here when it's printed. So that was fixed, and then when I was able to just do this nice kind of more semi asymmetrical design of going across the middle here.
Yes.
And then the other thing was like when we would do the prototype, the way the ink worked in the prototype with that printer, which is not the same printer we have here, it would look very different. So with the way the blacks blended with the colors. So we went back and forth on that like a huge amount of times. I probably spent more time on this mat
I think
almost than anything. But I'm
so many
very,
other
very happy
certainly
with this.
component for component. That's absolutely
Yes,
true.
So all right, so what's next then?
All right. Well, I just unwrapped the walls. Now, again, in the box are going to be paper or cardstock cardstock walls, like the thickness of a normal playing card, so that the so that the base game comes with walls. However, we still had premium walls that you could buy extra that come kind of with the mat, and these have. Now we're seeing for the first time, these have spot UV effects. So if I shake it to the camera, to the top camera, you might be able to see here, there's like a shine effect on certain areas.
Yeah, I'm showing it a little bit here too. You can see it right in this nebula here behind the center.
Yep, the nebulas, the comets trails. So there's some stars.
Yep.
So there's some spot UV.
And there's the embossing.
And the embossing on the asteroids as well. Yeah, it's a little hard to see on the
planet you can kind of see
camera,
pretty good. On mine, I don't know about camera. You can see it right there on the camera. So that is really cool.
All the big asteroids, the small asteroids too. So there's some really cool specialty effects, and they're on both sides. So on the inside here as well, I saw as soon as I opened, I'm like, ooh, there was just a glimmer of stars everywhere.
Now, another thing is, now you don't have to do it this way. They work even if you just kind of lay them any which way. But if you want to be really exacting, I did design these so that there is a way where you can line up all the corners and they would line up with the actual bottom too. It's fine if you don't do it that way, but if that is something you're interested in, you can definitely line it up so that every single aspect of this all lines up with itself.
Like the artwork from the mat spills into the walls. Of course, I would challenge you, Darren, right now to even figure out that yourself.
See, the thing is, I was actually thinking about putting little like tags on it so you would know how to do it, but I figured that would be too fussy.
Let people have fun.
They can have fun figuring it out. Yeah. But the good thing about it is it's kind of it's the way it is. It'll work no matter what way you do it. It's just that's like an added thing if you want to try that a little bit. So,
beautiful.
Yeah. Looks great.
All right, let me just check for questions while you unshrink the main game, Drop Drive. Okay. The mat looks like a silky texture. Yeah, I mean it's a really premium neoprene mat, and like Darren said earlier, it's got the stitched edges, which is a really elegant feel to the overall neoprene, which we couldn't have done if it was a single piece either.
Right. There we go.
More portable walls is an option. Yeah, Dragon Dog. The walls in the box. Let me just comment on that really quick.
Sure.
So we did that here with Drop Drive because we definitely received a lot of feedback during Dungeon Drop that like the box should have had walls in it. Now the box for Dungeon Drop is like this tiny cube, so to get walls in there would have been really hard to do. But because we made this box ultimately a King of Tokyo box, King of Tokyo size, we had more options. And future versions of Dungeon Drop will now have the same cardstock walls that you're going to see in here are going to be in there as well. So anyway, look at the box.
So yeah, I'll try to catch it again here. So again, we really enjoy doing, although it can be challenging sometimes, but to get the nice spot UV. Just trying to make this show up. Yeah, there you go.
There's the gleam.
Yeah. So
and the fire behind the ship and the fire here.
Yep, and the little and their little text stuff.
Tagline. Yep.
It was also nice working on a bigger box because we had a little bit more breathing room,
bigger canvas to play with.
and little things like I don't know, we were just geeking out on it ourselves, but I don't know how much anybody else cares. But we redesigned our stat block here for the player count and the timing and all that, and so that it so that it works with our logo, it works with our branding for our company as a whole, and I'm just really happy that was another thing we really kind of had to push for to do, and we got that done. So
all right, let's open it.
All right.
We'll try not to take too much of everyone's time here, but we're excited. You're excited. Everyone's excited.
And now this is another thing. Now we can't promise we're going to do this for every product,
no.
but this is definitely another one of our premium products. You can see before I start doing that, we do printing also on the inside. Yeah. So we have like our nice space artwork on the inside, and
it'll be on the bottom as well. It'll take forever to get there, but
yeah,
yep.
Exactly. So that's that there. Okay, so.
All right, we got our rule book. Now, this is probably no different than the pre-production copy that we received because they just digitally print these anyway. Well, that's not true. They offset print this, but
it is different, obviously, than our previous games. This is the first time we're having the luxury of a full-size rule book.
Yeah, we have some. We use this this panel approach where you've got a main section of each page and then these side panels. Mm-hmm. What we did was we put all of the edge case rules and examples off to the side panels. So the main area is like the main rules, and then we would reference and say, see the left rail or the right rail for some example situation. So yeah, lot of great content in here. What also we did, we had considered having two separate rule books, the main one and then the anomaly rule book. What we did instead was, you'll notice that the pages changed from purple base to green base. So this is like the anomaly rules section. And we even say, stop, you don't need to worry about this entire section for the first game or two. You don't have to play with the anomalies. But obviously, it's all about the anomalies.
So because it's like we have like a base game, which is definitely absolutely fun in and of itself. But then when you've gotten that through and you've gotten that in, then the anomalies is the part that just keeps growing and growing. And even beyond these products that we have here, that's an area where we can keep expanding.
Oh, huge expansion potential.
We designed it with that obviously in mind.
And the back cover, nice player aid. Specimen scoring examples, because specimens are the thing that have the most unique set collection rules. So we have a nice scoring example on the back there, and of course our credits. Great. Let's move on. Punchboard sheets. You spent some time on these as well. Cuts.
That's just a universe. We can say this. Oh, we spent a lot of time on this.
I know everything.
We did. But especially because we kept deciding we want this many ones, this many fives, this many 25, so on. Or what are the ones we even want? Like we want 1 5s and 10s. Well, we went through that many times. So we'll just go, I guess, quickly one through the time. So we did this, and we also did something a little special here. Did you want to talk a little bit about the in terms of the content, real quick, these elements that are not actually they're
not used in the base. Yeah. So not only on this sheet, these 9 or so or 12 of these tokens, the comets and these planets and nebulas, and also over here we have a vortex. We even have a xenomorph alien and a Don't Panic galactic guidebook. These are not actual components used in the base game. They are scenery tokens that we decided to build in, and we specifically mention them in the anomaly section of the rules as things that you can use to custom build your own anomalies, or we may release downloadable rules that make use of some of those extra components. So we built in a whole bunch of extra, and In fact, we're already making use of the comets as part of a Comet Con anomaly pack, which we'll start giving away at conventions. So yes, we will make use of them, and you may make use of them on your own as well. All in all, I don't think there's much to say. We know that these punch board tokens are fantastic. I mean, here we'll punch out like the captain tiles.
Yeah.
They punch out nice and clean. And these are the two-sided captains. Each one has an asymmetric starting ability, and then a little cheat sheet for encounters on the back of each one. The punch board is really thick. Again, something like premium. You know, we didn't want these to feel cheap and thin. And then this is the Dyson sphere that you can build. I can actually build it really quick.
Sure. And again, I have that same thing. Like I punched this out, and I'm looking at it. It's like, yeah, like we made that.
Yeah, we made that.
Because you're so used to looking at it on the computer screen again, just seeing it like physically in your hand is just so rewarding to see all that. And the coins, these coins are really really cool. The way that we put them together, but we have something coming up later that'll really.
Well, the metal coins, yeah.
People will definitely like that too. Yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, this is the vortex? Is that what this? What do you call that?
That vortex.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun working on that, making this. This definitely has a lot of possibilities. It's kind of like a digital wormhole over a swirling vortex of galactic gases.
Now we do have a wormhole anomaly already, but we don't have something that uses the vortex yet. All right, so I'm building our little Dyson sphere here. It's got 3 punch-out pylons, which I've just assembled. I think you can kind of see there. It creates this little 3-dimensional Dyson sphere, which goes around our sun. It's actually a spherical sun.
This was, I know we can spend all night talking about it, but that was another one of our challenges, was even just getting to explain what we meant by this kind of semi-spherical sun. It came back 3 different ways.
It was an oval at one point. It was flat.
But that looks great.
And there is the Dyson sphere around the sun. So, excellent. Finally have a sun with a Dyson sphere around it.
Oh, here you go. Now we can probably finish talking up about that now, since we brought it up before.
Yeah. So these are for those who did not purchase the premium walls, or you just want the more portable option. There are 3 of these. They're the exact same artwork as the other ones, but these don't have spot UV or the embossing effects, but they all unfold. They have an extra fold in them, so that they fit in the box. And you basically would just...
same artwork.
Yep, they're the same artwork, and they're the same size. So you would just lay them around. Here, I can take this one off. And you can lay them around either a mat, or if you don't have a mat, then just around the table, and it would create the same size area and with the same artwork. And these are great.
Became great.
Yep. So that is that. But of course, for the demo purposes for today, we're going to leave the walls up.
Any other comments that we need to?
I don't think so. No, these are. I had seen these before. They're the same.
I mean that people are writing.
People. Let's see. You keep unboxing more stuff.
Okay.
I'll look at the comments.
All right. So
you got to peek at the sun. It's not an oval now. Nope. Thank you.
Yeah. And the way that works is, well, we'll show you later when we. It's similar to our other drop games. It's a very different game than our other drop games, but the thing that is similar is that the world is created through dropping the items. And in the dungeon drop, for example, you would just kind of drop or spread them around in the dungeon. But now, this one thing that's nice about the sun here is because of the shape, you can now drop it on the sun, and because of the curvature, it'll help kind of spread around the different items a little bit more. Okay, so here I'm looking at...
So before you do that, Dragon Dog, I'm not sure I'm following. You mentioned the captains having an alternate art. Oh, hostile expression. Okay, what you are referring to is at one time the captains were going to work differently. They had 2 sides, a peaceful side and a hostile side. And when you approach someone, you would choose in secret and then reveal. And maybe you were hostile and I was peaceful and you would just gank me, or we're both hostile and we fight. That was an earlier model for captain encounters. We no longer have that. So what we did was we chose the best artwork for the captain, and whether it was the Peace 4 Hostile version, and we just went with that. So we no longer have the two styles, but there is a very interactive Captain Encounter. In fact, it's more interactive now. When you approach me, you can approach me and say that you're raising hailing frequencies because you just want to trade with me. Then I have the choice to respond and say, I'll open a channel, or I'm going to go to arm my weapons. And then you have a choice to respond and say, are you going to go to battle stations, or are you just going to surrender? So there's this like multi back and forth decision tree, which creates very interesting outcomes. So we no longer have the two different artworks, to answer the question. Is it too late to adjust your pledge, Ben? It depends on what you want to do, but generally speaking, reach out to me over support@phaseshiftgames.com or message me if you have a direct connection on Discord or whatever, and we can work with you.
So I've just opened up our dice. Now, some of them are traditional 6-sided dice, and then we have these blank 12-sided, not really dice really for what they're used. These are actually our planets. And like I was saying before about the distribution, when this, you're going to drop a number of things, but some of the things are going to be the planets. And so I'll just show you really quickly what that's kind of like.
Oh, the Dyson sphere.
So now you have these planets in the world, and you have them in these different locations. And of course we have the matching colors for the dice that are used at different parts of the gameplay right here. Let's see.
There we go.
There we go. Hey, they work.
Nice. Dice work.
Excellent.
So yes,
Yeah,
these are the ones that come in the
feel
base
really
game.
Nice.
Oh, I love the material.
Yeah.
And the chunkiness of these, but they have this nice like soft edging too.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
And we have some special stuff coming up later.
Yes, these are the basic planets that come in the
box,
basic box.
which are amazing in and of themselves. But we did a little extra too.
Yes.
For another thing. All right. So let's see what we get next. We talked about anomalies. Now, how do the anomalies come into the game?
Oh, I love these so much.
Let's see if I can get the glitter going. If you can see it.
Can
My
you?
goodness, it's full of stars.
Oh, so yeah,
Look
I
at it,
tried
right?
to
Look at that.
to show these close to the camera once before. There you can start to see the glitter inside these. It's like a real three-dimensional.
I don't know. I'm probably going to be out of focus.
Yeah, it's a little out of focus. But
Oh.
these anomaly tokens are the monoliths, obviously, and they are stunning. They may be my single favorite piece that we've made throughout this
They look so good.
this campaign. They are unbelievable on the table.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're flying around to these different planets, but how do we fly around?
Nav tools. All right, these took some engineering.
Yes.
And
And
I want to shout out to Cyber Knights Team 195 in Southington, Connecticut.
Thank you.
The Southington High School robotics team, my alma mater for high school. They helped us with the early prototypes for these nav tools, 3D printing and doing some CAD engineering for them. And then we hired Jake Singer, who had done some work for some really big products like Fireball Island. And he did the final the final engineering for these, so that we have fantastic, snappable nav tools that are sustainable. They're durable, and they are awesome. They also look really cool. Like he built in some really nice details into them, so that they're thematically really cool.
Yeah.
Now this is the base game. These are all gray, and then later on you're going to see some upgraded ones.
So let's get these off to the side here for now. And okay,
What's next?
we have the asteroids.
Asteroids. Now the asteroids went through a metamorphosis.
Yes.
They are now, what do we call those? Semi-transparent, semi-opaque.
Do not eat them.
They look like candy now,
Yes.
but don't eat them.
I think I'll do a little drop. It's probably not knock these guys off, but we'll see.
Yeah,
what
that's fine.
happens.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this drop's really nice.
Oh yeah, dropping over the sun is just a joy. So yeah, these now, there's 3 of them. They're not fully opaque. They're like semi-transparent and semi-opaque, And we did that so that it does a couple things. Number one, these don't look like normal crystals that you get in a bajillion games. Do we mean translucent? Well, they're not fully translucent. That's why I'm saying this. So they really stand out as unique in this game.
They have
Also,
like a milky quality almost to them.
yeah, that's probably a good way to. Well, because it is like some dye is put into the plastic
Yes.
during the molding process, but not full dye. And the other thing is, these are supposed to be frozen elements. Like this is frozen ore. This is frozen biomatter. This is frozen plasma. So it gives them that spacey kind of like, frozen gas look, as opposed to just completely clear. Yeah, that was one of our most recent changes, and I love it. It also sets them apart
Exactly.
from other fully translucent ones,
Which are
which
coming
we
up
have later.
Okay, now we have some really cool. This is what we're going to look at now is our heat printed wooden components.
Yes.
And we have a few things here. Not everything gets dropped.
Yeah, you don't need to drop
Yeah.
everything. It's fine.
Put these here for now, but we can okay. So these here are not heat printed. They're just the gray. What these represent is it's a part of the trade system. Which again, we already discussed. We're not going to go into all the rules here.
Yeah.
But these are basically markers that are used in the trade system in the game. These little gray hexagons.
Market demand tokens. They're basically little hexagonal wooden tokens. We also gave them some really good thickness. I think they're 6 millimeters thick, so
Nice
that
and chunky.
very easy to pick up.
Okay. Now we have ships, and we have fuel. These ships here are
And
the
salvage.
and salvage. The salvage. These are the items here. These here are the pirate ships, and they're in the main colors.
Yep.
And here we have. There's one of a few of
These
the
are the player ships.
player ships here, and you can see that there are matching colors for each of them as well. There we go. And of course, we have some extras coming up over there. And we have some mines. These came out really
Space
nice.
mines, yes. Once again, nice and chunky, like they're 6 or 8 millimeters thick. I forget exactly what we did. Heat printed on both of the main sides so that it has full artwork.
And also we went right to the bleed. Like a lot of times, we
Yes.
they always tell you that you need to leave like like you see the border here that's like kind of like a margin around the edge so that. But we chanced it, and I think we gambled and paid off.
Yeah.
I think they look really good.
Also, we did the same thing with the fuel and the salvage. So,
Yes.
so just
Goes right to the edge.
to put a finer point on what Darren's talking about, like this fuel, the artwork is heat printed onto the wood, and it goes all the way to the edges. And the salvage, especially with all the detail in the wood cuts, you see it's got these like these edges, where the like shards of metal are twisted and turned, and we're heat printing all the way to the edges. The manufacturers usually push back and say that can cause problems, that can become misaligned or whatever. And we did this a lot with Dungeon Drop, and it was perfect. We wanted the goblin faces and the troll faces to go all the way to the end, and they look great. And so we pushed on them here as well, and once again they nailed it.
And we did the art as best we could
beautiful.
to allow for any of the inevitable like shifting. And yes, I think they look great, and I love the way the mines look. It's all just has such a great feeling about it.
Now, with the player ships and the pirate ships, we didn't go all the way to the end, but not because we couldn't, but because we wanted them to feel a little different. There's the green and the yellow player and pirate ships. We wanted them to be a more, generic shape so that they were unified. We want all the pirates to be unified in the same shape. We wanted all the player ships to be the same shape. And the artwork, we made the shape more of it's more of a generic triangle with a rounded bottom, kind of thing. So we chose differently for these, and they are exactly what we wanted them to be.
They did a great job cutting these. Look how fine that is. That's
what I was saying. Yeah, that little shard of metal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was risky, but I think again, it's paying off that we did that.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it. Now we're getting to more of the.
What's next?
Printed material, but we do have one more of these, which has these jellies.
So this is the Kickstarter exclusive crossover pack. So all of you who are backers are going to get this in your game box. So the first thing that it's got a few things. It's got the Dark Jellies Anomaly. These are the rules for how to incorporate it. It's got the Dark Jellies Anomaly. So here they are. If you are already a fan of Dungeon Drop, then you know we have gelatinous cubes, which are like green with like strands of goo inside. Well, these are now purple with strands of goo inside. So they're definitely meant to be a parallel. Go ahead. Yeah. And what we did was we gave you 3. Two of them are used in this game as part of the Dark Jelly Anomaly, and here's the rules card for it. And then we gave you a 3rd one, which you can now use in Dungeon Drop with the new Dark Jelly Huge Monster card for Dungeon Drop. So we gave you extra, so it's like a crossover between the 2 games, and now you have enough stuff for both sides. So that's for the Drop Drive, that's for Drop Drive, and it also includes our beloved mascot, Boblin, Space Boblin. Cosmic Bob. What do we call him? Captain Cosmic Boblin. So this is another captain tile. You can just add him to the set of captains that you have, and he has an extra cargo space, and you just add him right in, and that comes with the Kickstarter exclusive, as well as some extra tokens for credits and setup rules. That's that.
Okay, so now we looked at the wooden ships. I'm now going to hand you over the card ships. And whatever else is in this little pile here.
I just like the goo in the purple. Sorry. What do we got? Ships. Oh, yes, the main part of the game.
Yeah, and we have the planets in there too. So here, you want to I'll just hand you the ships, I guess, first. Okay. Chat a little bit about that. There we go.
All right, so much like Dungeon Drop, we have ship fronts and we have ship backs. In Dungeon Drop, you have a culture and a class card. Here we have a ship front and a ship back. So there's the Guild Leviathan. Here's the Fathomless Kraken, and of course any 2 can pair together. There's the Rogue Horizon. And as the game goes on, you're even going to expand it and start putting other things in between.
Look at all those little cargo holds here. Wonder what goes in there.
Cargo goes in there.
Like this, if
like
you swoop around.
Fuel and salvage and asteroids. All right.
So the next thing we have are the planet. So we have here, of course, are the planet dice, whatever you want to call them, and then here are the planet cards.
Planet. Oh yes. So these are So again, in the base game, just like the cardstock walls, there's cardstock planets. These are upgraded in the deluxe, which you'll see momentarily, but they are the base planet. And we talked earlier about these market demand tokens, these little hexagonal things. That's what those are for. As you buy things from the planets, you're going to cover the market spaces with those market demand tokens. And that is that. So there's 2 sides. There's a home world side for each planet and an edge world side. The edge world will not buy as many types of asteroids, but they also do have some special planetary facility, which is a lot of fun.
And then here it looks like these are like the anomaly
rules.
Anomaly rules for those particular ones. Which again we can go into great detail, but that's like where the game really starts exploding.
So the base game comes with 6 anomalies: Precursor Tech, the Dyson Sphere, which you saw earlier, Wormhole, which of course you have to include a wormhole, a Space Beast, the Space Mines, which are the things we also showed you earlier, these wooden mine tokens, use those for that, and a UFO. Did I get all 6? Yeah. So those 6 are included in the base. And then you're going to see many more as we keep going.
And then here's some of the cards.
These are, so this is now the deck to randomize what anomalies are going to come up every time you explore one of these anomaly tokens. In the base game, we give you not only those 6 that I just mentioned, Space Beast, Wormhole, UFO, etc., but we also give you, I mentioned earlier, all the artwork stuff. If you want to make your own, we've given you 6 extra cards for Faint Signal Alpha, Faint Signal Beta, Chi, Delta, Epsilon, Phi. And you can just shuffle those right in. So if you make something using this galaxy token that we gave you, or the vortex, you can just call that, alpha anomaly, and when it comes up randomly in the deck, you can pull out your own personal rules. Okay.
All right, now here we have these.
Go ahead, you walk through that.
All right, these are the domino-shaped cards, and in here, multi-pass, we have the different passengers that you can pick up as you're going through your adventures in space. We also have, these are the different specimens, and this is kind of like the set collection portion of our game, and they have different numbers of eyes and feet and so on, and then depending on what combinations of cards you get there, they can be worth different amount of points at the end of the game. And then here we have expansions for your ship. So as we talked about before, how you have, like, you know, this could be the beginning part of your ship, but then if you get this can be an expansion onto your ship. So now you have the Rogue Bulbous Horizon. And, you know, you can get very, you can just go crazy.
Keep going.
Expansive and so on. So that's what all of these cards are here. And again, there's just so many, we can't go into, this video would be forever if we went into all of them. But that's the basic brunt of what those are about. Now, one thing before we move on to the other items, we actually have an insert. That's a big deal for us too.
Yes, so, it really is.
So if you want to talk about the insert.
Yeah, I mean, so okay, give me the it's better to just show. Give me the captains.
Yeah.
Boom. Captains have their own spot in the insert, and then the sun and the Dyson sphere goes around the sun in the insert. Should fit. There we go. And then all of these cards go into one slot there. Then all the poker cards have a slot at the bottom there. And all the big cards go on top of the poker cards, essentially. And then there's still spaces for all of your little bits and dice. There's 3 compartments. You can put all your credits over here.
Yep.
And then all, bags, of course, for everything else. So we took some time to really think through, and that is solid. Actually, that's thicker than I expected the final was going to be. That is a quality insert right there.
Excellent.
And as Darren said, all of our inside print. Not that you're ever going to see it because you're just going to keep the insert in.
Yeah.
But these wells here for the cards are also big enough so that you can have fully sleeved cards in those different wells.
And get your big fingers in there to get them.
And get your big. What are you saying? I have big fat fingers.
Well, I have dainty fingers, but we need to have to count for all sorts of fingers.
So is that everything in the base?
That is the base game. Yes.
Cool. Let's keep going while we have people's attention. We're just gonna awkwardly push everything to the side and move some stuff over there. Those can go there. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see. These will be quick. We have our sleeve packs. We're not going to bother wasting time with these. I've opened these already and tested them out. They fit the cards perfectly, and more importantly, the insert fits the sleeved cards in the insert correctly,
which was often a problem.
Which was critical to make sure that we got that right.
Right.
So,
attention to detail.
Yes.
Watch as we make some other mistakes someplace else, but
no. So far we're in good shape. And these are 100 microns thick. These are premium sleeves. We were asked recently multiple times, people specifically about this size. They wanted to know what brand we use because they were, I guess, trying to find them. I was like, no, these are ours. We manufactured. We made these, so they're Phase Shift brand. So you come to us for those. Okay, we have Strange Signals, and we have all the little upgrade boxes. So Strange Signals is, why don't we do that next? This is the main expansion.
I get the plastic off if you want.
Go ahead. It's the main expansion for the game, and it has a very different shaped box for a very specific reason, which will become apparent momentarily.
Yeah, I always struggle with getting them. Here we go.
All right, so once again, we should have some nice spot UV, which we do, and there it is. Now you can see it on the camera. Yay. Okay. So storage for all your anomalies and their bits. That means not just the 6 that came in the base box, not just the 8 that came in this box, but all
future
18 or whatever number we currently have available, and not all future, but I think we estimate we have room in this box for upwards of 30 or 40 anomalies before this becomes inadequate, filled, yeah. But this does add 8 very immersive anomalies to Drop Drive. And what those are, well, you're going to see them. So here we go. Let's open it. There are 8. These were mostly created in cooperation with the community during the Kickstarter. Once again, inside printing. Ooh, okay.
Green.
Green. We'll get back to these in a moment. These holographic bags are super cool, but we'll get back to them momentarily when it will become much more obvious why they're here. Now, you'll notice that there's no insert in here. That's intentional because, well, I guess I'll mention the bags now. The point of these bags is each one of these holds an anomaly, its rules card, its tokens. If it has an additional deck of cards, like the Whale of Deep Thoughts, it holds all of those in one of these envelopes, and then you stack the envelopes vertically throughout this box. Now, if you want to have additional storage for bits, like thicker bits that might be in there, which you wouldn't want to put in these envelopes, we do have plastic game trays that would stack on one side of these. Those are available on our site. But the base components themselves, you can go ahead and start checking them out one by one, and we'll look at them.
All right. Let's see. Again, here's some more bags as we discussed. And
yeah, of course, we give an obnoxious amount of Ziploc bags for everything.
so let's go with some of our
I think the manufacturer, when they sent us the pre-production copy,
Yeah.
I think they put like 22 Ziploc bags in one of these boxes.
Yeah.
And I said it's too much. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just 5 is fine.
So here you go. Here's some of the. Go ahead. You want to talk about
Yeah.
some of
So each, basically, there's a lot of tiles. These are thick punchboard tiles here. This is the drop gate, which is part of one of the anomalies, the drop gate. This is the pirate port anomaly tile. This is the maelstrom tile, where you have this cool mat that you're trying to spiral into the center of the maelstrom, and a place to put coaxy crystals. So there's 4 or 5 of these like thick main tiles. These here are what do we call them? Asteroid belt tiles, and they have a little picture of the Belter's Bazaar there. And these are going to be strewn throughout the system when you have that anomaly in play, and you can land on any one of these asteroid belts. You can land on that little Belter's Bazaar and trade with the market that's there.
Here's the Belter's Bazaar.
Here is the market card for the Belter's Bazaar. So there'll be a couple market cards down there. You can identify salvage. You can repair your ship. So that's those.
I'll save those for we have some more cool punch outs here.
All right, this one here is the Ancient Temple. This is part of the Last Element anomaly.
Now, again, I think it's important to say, like, we have all of these anomalies, but not every game you play with every single anomaly.
Oh, 3 at most.
So that's why we get a lot of, a variety of gameplay out of this. We've just provided enough that you, as you're playing, you have a couple, and because these are a whole game will feel very much different if you're playing even just with this one alone.
Yep.
So every single one can give you quite a different gameplay on top of the base gameplay.
Yes.
So.
And in fact, we rated every single one of the anomalies with a complexity rating, because the reality is you could play with maybe you want to start with 2 or 3 of the simple anomalies in play, like the wormhole. It's just 2 wormholes, in different areas of the board. You might want to start with that in play every time you play because it's cool, and that's fine. It's super, super simple. But then something like the Ancient Temple is part of the what's called the Last Element, and it's a more in-depth scenario. Like when it comes out, here's Mr. Darkness, and he starts marching towards the yellow planet where the Ancient Temple is, and if he reaches it, he blows up the whole system. And so what you need to do is find the elemental stones and try to, there's this whole thing. So speaking of which, let's show you the elemental stones. Well, actually, these are different. Those are...
oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did I get that?
That's all
I
right.
was thinking of
There's so much. It's all right. Well, anyway, point is, some of them are more in depth.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting confused myself with the coins.
that's the ancient anomaly. This was Mr. Darkness token. That was appropriate for
Right. And the instructions for each one of these is available, so that you know what goes with what.
that. Of course. So this is the
That's the spice plant.
Well, it's the zest.
Zest plant.
Zest, not spice. And it's also the marbleized version of the Zest planet. And you will see other marbleized planets to replace the base game ones later on. And then these 3 dice are the pyramid ships from the Dropgate anomaly. So I showed you earlier there was a Dropgate tile here. So these 3 ships are going to move around the system and subjugate planets, and you can actually go and infiltrate one of those. So they have this like bronze effect. They look very cool, like a pyramid ship would, if you're familiar with the science fiction
And
trope that
also-
it's based on.
And this also is a harkens to what we're going to be talking about later with some of the other thicker things. But
Yes.
there's the Zest planet
Here's
with
the
the thicker one.
The Zest planet. This is now the planet tile. You saw earlier the planet cards. This is now the first of the 3-dimensional planet tiles where it's got indentations for those little market demand tokens, which of course is one of the deluxe components that we have available. So that is the planet tile for that.
And then we have some of these fun, more heat printed wooden pieces.
All right, so lay them out. All right, so what we have here, I mentioned the elemental stones. Here they are. These are, again, like a lot of manufacturers that we talk to, because I meet with manufacturers at most conventions at this point, and they're like, you need to heat print on 8 millimeters? Like, yes, this right here, this is an 8 millimeter on the small end. I don't know what to call it, a rectangle or cylinder almost.
And
whatever.
we're printing on 4 of the sides.
And we're printing on 4 of the sides. So this is what we demand out of our manufacturers, and it's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I see somebody asked about elemental stones. Mark, yes, multipass. Yeah, you know it, baby.
Look
All
how
right.
vibrant these
And
things are.
then look at these little vibrant guys. What are these?
These-
These are
I'm trying to remember the
furious fur balls.
Fur balls. Okay, I remember. I know what they are. I couldn't remember the name we gave them at the end.
Furious fur balls. They are trouble with furious fur balls.
Exactly. They're very troublesome.
Troublesome fur balls. So there's 20 of those. They're all different colors. Again, really awesome to have this chunky wooden bit with the heat printing on 2 sides.
Yep.
Well,
Okay, let's
there.
see. We're gonna talk about these now, and this is again the reason why we went with the more milky quality.
Yes,
for
yes.
The other pieces.
So in here are now some more
Got a lot of
traditional.
stuff.
Yes, these are more traditional, really vibrant, translucent crystals. We have the Zest crystals, or the orange ones, and Coaxi are these super light ice blue ones.
So we wanted to make sure that they were distinct from those.
Exactly. So that's the blue asteroid that you can mine for credits during the normal game. But the Coaxi are these special ones. So we needed to be able to differentiate, and that is how we did that.
Okay. Here are some more of the cards that we were talking about for this version of it.
Yep.
The whales and here you go.
All right. So there's 3 special Explore cards, which are more of those domino-sized cards. These 2 are part of the Zest planet. We have a Harvester Carryall and Larval Worm Specimen.
I hear they get much bigger.
They do get much bigger. And we have the Puddle Skipper as part of the Dropgate anomaly. Then we have more of those, as I told you earlier, we have the randomizing deck for which anomalies are going to come out. So these are the 8 new anomalies that are all part of this. So just to be clear, what's in this expansion? This is all strange signals here. We have the Belter's Bazaar, the Zest Planet, Water is Life, the Pirate Port, which has also a bunch of special pirate tokens, which all do different things. They basically make the pirates more potent in the game. the Maelstrom, which is there was one of the tiles I mentioned earlier. You kind of spiral into the center of the Maelstrom trying to collect the coaxy crystals, which are super valuable, but they're also volatile and they'll blow up on your ship if you're not careful. The drop gate anomaly, where we have the pyramid ships moving around in space, and you have the drop gate tile and a little chevron token.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Here it is.
Yeah.
It's a little chevron token that moves around the drop gate tile. We have the last element, Biggie Boom. So this is the one that probably changes the game the most. This is Mr. Darkness here, and he will move through the system, and if he reaches his destination, which is the yellow planet, he will explode the entire game, and you redrop the entire system and go from there. What happens is it almost turns the game temporarily into a cooperative game where everyone's trying to gang up and beat back Mr. Darkness.
Because nobody's going to win if he does his
right,
thing.
and anyone that doesn't contribute will lose the most if he blows up the system. So everyone's incentivized to temporarily work against Mr. Darkness. The Whale of Deep Thoughts, which of course is a beloved trope in science fiction, has a special deck of cards, and these are so freaking cool. Basically, if you encounter the whale, which is a token in the game, you will draw from the deck of Deep Thoughts, or the player to your left will, and they will ask you a question which you have to answer. And some of them you have to have your eyes open, some you have to have your eyes closed. The ones where you have to have your eyes open, you have to estimate something, but you can't. You have to have your hands, crossed in front of you. You can't use your hands.
I still don't know how we got all of this stuff done.
I don't know.
Especially now that we're packing this.
We were insane.
But wait, we didn't even open up all those boxes yet.
And the Furious Furballs have the what do we call it? The Furball Fiasco. That's the anomaly there. So all of those are in this, and here's the rules cards for each one of those. All of those are in this Strange Signals expansion. And just to show you these really cool holographic envelopes, each one of these envelopes will hold, sleeved if you're actually sleeving things. So here's the Belter's Bazaar. So this envelope is now going to hold. What I do is put the Belter's Bazaar. I hope these are manufactured correct. There we go. Okay, I just wasn't seeing it. So there's the Belter's Bazaar rules card. I have that facing forward so I know what's in this packet. And then I would find the tile for the Belter's Bazaar. That can go in here behind. And then I'd get all of these asteroid tokens that we talked about earlier. And they're going to go in here. And so that's now 4 thick tiles from the asteroids, plus the Belter's Bazaar tile, plus the rules card. And it would have room for, like, the full deck of whale cards could also fit in there. And now each one of these packs of anomalies is going to get lined up in the Strange Signals box. You can alphabetize them or put them according to complexity or however you want to organize them. But the idea is when the Belter's Bazaar is drawn, you pull out one pack, open it up, and everything is ready to go. And these are really good quality and holographic, which is freaking awesome.
So for people who like to organize their games, they're going to have a blast doing this.
Oh, yeah. You got it. Okay.
All right, so that's
Strange Signals.
Now we have the other.
We'll just kind of push these to the side. I'm going to have to clean all this up later, but that's fine. I know where things go.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, we put in enough of these in the base Strange Signals box. There's enough of these holographic envelopes for all of the, I think, 18 total anomalies, plus 6 more, so that gets you up to 24. For the, if you remember, I gave you the those 6 make your own anomalies cards. So there's enough envelopes here for you to do with all of that. Cool. What we have left, these are going to go quick. We have left our 6 of these small box expansions. We should probably start with the deluxe upgrade, and then we'll get on to the other 5. You open that while I check for comments. What Dragon Dog wants to know. Can't wait to draw a card that says, "What's your credit card number?" We didn't put that one into the Whale of Deep Thoughts deck, but you're right. We could have. Orange says Spice is supposed to be blue. Hey, listen. We have to make some creative decisions here. Sorry if I'm missing. There's a lot of comments here. Multipass. Sorry if I'm missing any. Questions. You get all the bags. Looking great so far.
I'll just open up some of these other ones too.
Legally distinct. That's the idea. One of the cards should have a bowl of petunias on it. The thought crossed our minds. All right, more support for custom. Yes, yeah. I mean, honestly, that was such an important thing. I think I have always personally loved, and I think Darren too. I've always loved sandbox games.
Yeah, definitely.
Firefly, Zaya, Star Wars Outer Rim to a slightly lesser degree. But these games where it's just the universe is at your fingertips, and I'd have to think long and hard at this point about some older games where they really gave you tools to just create anything you want.
Exactly.
And as long as you and the other 3 people sitting at the table agree, like, let's create an anomaly about whatever, about vacuum cleaners in space. Spaceballs, right? Like, you can do that.
And we'd be interested to hear what people are doing. The anomalies. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe someday we'll have another contest, and who knows what can happen with the winner of that.
Indeed. Absolutely.
So this is ready for you whenever you're ready.
What is this? Okay, so this is now the deluxe upgrade. This is a heavy box. It's heavy because inside are 3 really cool things. Money, deluxe planets, and deluxe planet tiles. Oh, and of course, more bags that we don't need. These were not needed. They're such a waste. Okay. And then you can chuck the tuck box. Okay, so these planet tiles, just like the Zest planet tile that you just saw earlier, these are now for the 5 main planets. These are all the 3D double thickness tiles. And on one side, we have the indentations for the 3 markets. And then on the other side, indentations for just the 2 markets.
Right.
And the engineering, just to call attention to it, because Darren and I put a lot of work into it. Basically, on this side, everything's left justified and only goes so far, and then on the other side, everything is still left justified. But if you imagine from the reverse, it basically covers. We had to print on 2 sides of 2 tiles and smash them together in the right way to make the indentations work without requiring the 3rd layer in between.
And get all those numbers right.
And to get all the numbers right. So that was awesome.
I mean, it was like a game making this game. The puzzles that we had to solve.
And then trying to communicate it to people with broken English who maybe didn't fully understand what we meant.
And also, that's something that's interesting. Like, Scott, our designer, Jason, and myself, we don't we do all this remotely from each other. We basically Discord is our tool of communication, and we essentially made all this game with the exception of some play tests that we've done together when we would go up to our secret location where we play all our games together. Other than that, all of this was done with each of us in our own separate locations. And it still came together. Oh, see now.
That's true.
I was doing this. I didn't get to look at these.
These are the normal planets. We introduced them earlier. And now in the deluxe upgrade, these are the marbleized deluxe versions of each planet.
Looks like swirling atmosphere was our idea, our intention behind doing these.
Yeah, so normal, and then the deluxe with that marbleized swirl, which is just really
gorgeous. Do not eat them.
Don't eat them.
Look at this. Look at the with the little particles in there.
I know.
So
it's
awesome.
just it's stunning.
This is my first time seeing these as well. I knew what we described to them that we wanted, but they really came through for us. Oh wow. Yeah. and they'll all be different because of the nature of the manufacturing. They'll
Yep.
all have a different kind of swirling pattern to them.
And the Zest Planet from Strange Signals matches the style of the deluxe. So,
yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And then the third thing that was in the deluxe upgrade, which is frankly what costs most of the money, are the glorious, and I mean it, I want to take a bath with these
treasure bath
metal coins. You can hear them, right?
have-
You can hear them. The clinking is amazing. These metal coins are beyond my wildest dreams. They have a what's it called? They have a wash effect, so that they pop in terms of color, but then they also the black seeps into the details, so you can really see the details.
People are going to use
of
these for other games too.
Oh yeah, these are easily usable in any science fiction themed game. I'm just so in love with those. Okay.
All right, so this is
That is the deluxe upgrade.
In the same vein, we have these.
All right, so then this is the luxury links pack. And in here we showed you earlier, the gray nav tools, which come in the base. But if you want to have each player have their own links color-coded to their player color, here is the yellow player's nav tool. And there's enough pieces there for the longest ship's rocket drive for each player. Each of the 5 main colors. And when you have these, they're totally unnecessary, right? You can play this game without these luxury links. That's why they're called luxury. But they're wicked cool, first of all. Second of all, if you have these, you can use these gray ones to basically create, here's a 3 link. And then you can create a 4 link and a 5 link and a 6 link. And there's enough to do that all the way down to 1. And by just keeping them set that way, there's a lot of effects in the game that say measure 3 links. Or if there's an asteroid within 2 links, collect it. Well, you can just easily grab the gray thing that's already set to 2 links and just measure if it's within 2 links or not. So that's what I do, is I just kind of keep the gray ones set to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the colored ones are for the players.
Now, this, if you want to just, so that it's not much more to say.
Yep, not much more on this one. This is the Space Coins Booster Pack, which is if you love these space coins and you just want more of them, you can get this. Also, if you get the 5th player add-on, you will probably want to have the additional set. It's basically sized so that it is enough for 1 extra player, but it is more of the same. 2 25s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5s, and 2, 4, 6, 7 1s. And just add them into the mix, basically.
And here you go.
And okay, so now the 5th player add-on, or the 5th captain pack.
Mm-hmm.
The white die for the white captain player. You just add it to the other dice for the other players. It comes with more of those generic gray nav tools, because you would now have the need for more of those for the 5th player. It comes with more of the standard asteroids that you would just add into the mix when you're playing with the 5th player. You could technically add it into all games, but it's, we realize that when you have 5 players, you just want to add a little bit more stuff into the system to account for that extra player that's gobbling stuff up. Most importantly, it includes the white player's player ship and pirate ship. And they were very confused when I told them they made these white wood at first. And I said, no, it needs to be black wood, just like all the other player and pirate ships.
Exactly.
And they said, well, if it's black wood, how are you going to see anything on it? I said, because you're going to heat print.
Exactly.
They said, oh, yeah. So there you go. Now they match everything else. And it includes more fuel and more salvage, which you would just add to the mix.
And the trade.
More of the market demand tokens, because the market demand tokens are actually the trigger for the end of the game.
Right.
And it's based on the number of players. So the more players you have, the more of those you need. It adds the 5th captain tile, which is now... The other reason you may want this, even if you never play with 5 players, is this is a different captain.
Yeah.
It's the white player, the white race culture. And he lets you keep all 3 of your starting anomaly or explore cards instead of choosing 2 of the 3. And more of the cardboard tokens. Okay. That's
right.
the 5th player pack.
So this one's gonna be fun.
All right,
too.
the table's getting complicated here. How much more do we have?
2
Two
more.
more. Okay.
So that one's got the metal.
This is the limited promo pack 2021. We basically had 3 of these now. We keep calling them limited promo. We should probably come up with other names.
Okay.
But this is it's like our special thing that we're gonna make that's phase shift only.
Right.
Doesn't go through retail, and it has some metal collectible thing.
Right.
And in this case, the limited promo pack includes a metal Death Dodecahedron.
Ooh,
Go
you can
ahead,
hear it.
show it off.
You can hear it.
You can hear the clunk of the metal.
Look at that. That looks like it could destroy a planet.
That probably could destroy a planet. It's almost as if it marches towards a planet and destroys it.
Boom.
And of course, that comes with some technical plan cards, which you can collect. And when you have one of these technical plan cards, battle rating is +3 when you attack the Death Dodecahedron. That probably lets you go in and do some kind of a weird trench run
I
to
wonder.
try to take it out.
These trenches. It's interesting how the trenches are.
And the trenches are
zigzagging.
there. Yeah. And of course, an anomaly rules card and an anomaly randomizer card, like
And
everything.
Last but not least, as we talked about in the beginning and bringing it home, is our shipping shenanigans.
Yes. Death Dodecahedron. That's correct, Poltergeist. You heard it right. It's the way. Okay, True Flight. I meant to say culture. So we have made the conscious decision to call their cultures in Drop Drive, and in Dungeon Drop 6 years ago when we first made it, we had races and classes, and we have updated our lingo, and in the future they will be cultures or something along those lines. So sorry for accidentally spilling out the wrong word. All right, so yes, shipping shenanigans. First of all, the story really quick was what was it, like 2.5, 3 years ago, the shipping crisis. Everyone heard about the global shipping crisis. COVID, had a huge impact on it. It was not the only spark of the shipping crisis, but it was one of them. You heard about the ship stuck in the Suez Canal, the Ever Given. So there were a lot of things that led to the fact that for me to get a shipment from China in a what's called a container, instead of $4,000 or less to ship an entire container, it cost over $20,000 to ship an entire container.
Which was not taken into account in the Kickstarter.
No, that's a factor of 5. That is not just a little increase.
Could be company
like
break.
10%, wiggle room or what. This was a factor of 5. To ship 3 full containers was $60,000. So for the campaign where we had to ship 3 containers worth of inventory, we were out $60,000. No lie. I mean, 50 when you subtract what we would have paid otherwise. So we ran a mini campaign called Shipping Shenanigans. We said, basically, we're screwed here. We're going to make it work. We're going to figure it out. We're going to, the money's, it's on us. But if you could help us out, basically back us. It wasn't a Kickstarter, but it was like a mini campaign. Buy the Shipping Shenanigans pack for $13. We would normally have sold it for $10. And so what we said is we're going to put a bunch of content in this that we would normally have sold for $10.
For all our products. That we
And
had
it's
at
for
the
both
time.
Drop Drive and Dungeon Drop. It's got content for both. And we're going to sell it for $13. And that extra $3 across hopefully thousands of sales of it would help to offset the cost of the shipping crisis. We got a pretty good response to it, and we printed more. So we'll continue selling them. And by the time we've sold them all,
Hopefully.
it will have made up most of the gap. So what's in here, the theme is all about shipping.
Shipping.
Disasters.
Exactly.
And evil containers. And so one of the things we have in here is the evil, monstrous mimic.
I mean, what's more evil than a mimic when it comes to containers?
Exactly. So there are, again, there's content for both games, Dungeon Drop and Drop Drive in here. So I just mentioned the monstrous mimic. So here it is. That's the giant cube for Dungeon Drop. It looks like a normal treasure chest with pips on all sides, but it's got that tongue hanging out the front, which is awesome. It's also giant size. Normal treasure chests and Dungeon Drop are the next size down. And here is the huge monster card that goes with that for Dungeon Drop. So that's one of the things that is in this. Next, we have 2 classes for Dungeon Drop, the Merchant Captain and the Treasure Hunter. Both of them, by the way, designed by the community.
Yeah.
We work with the community a lot during these kinds of campaigns to come up with different ideas, and both of these were awesome community ideas. We fleshed them out, worked through them with Scott, the designer, and the community, and came up with both of these classes. So you can add them right into your decks of Dungeon Drop, of the classes. Then we have 2 anomalies for Drop Drive, the Galactic Shipping Hub and the Wreck of the Everstar. The Wreck of the Everstar, clearly a nod to a particular ship that might have been lodged in the Suez Canal. We have a bunch of crate tokens. These are the, what do we call these? Cargo containers. And the idea is wherever the Wreck of the Everstar, it's like it crashed into an asteroid, right? So wherever it crashed into the asteroid, we're going to take these huge cargo containers, heat printed on 4 sides, and we're going to drop them over that area. And they spread out, and those are now collectible things that your ship can go and pick up, put into its cargo. Now they're huge, so you can only hold 1 of these on your ship at any given time. They're called heavy cargo. And then you bring them back to either a planet or, if it's in play, the Galactic Shipping Hub. And you get a bunch of credits for doing that. That's the Wreck of the Everstar. And then the Galactic Shipping Hub, which has a token and some more credits. And these planetary aid containers, they're the same size as the other ones, but these are color-coded, 1 for each planet. And basically, if you take from the Galactic Shipping Hub the pink container and go to the pink planet and deliver it, you get this bonus, which is roll a die, gain X credits, where X is the number rolled. Well, that one's easy. Solar, the yellow planet. If you take that one, gain credits equal to the number of full nav links between that planet and the sun. So if that planet is 8 links away from the sun, you get 8 credits. So really cool thematic expansions, essentially, or anomalies to add into
Look at all
Drop Drive, and also some stuff for Dungeon Drop.
Now, how long have we been talking?
That is everything. I don't know. It's 8:21. We started at 7:30, so just under an hour.
So
no, we started at 7. Well, we did an intro, so yeah, just under an hour.
But still, if we spent this much time just pulling stuff out and talking about it, not even going into all of the details, imagine how much gameplay time there is in all of this stuff.
Yes.
It is really amazing. I can't wait to play myself.
And
with these components.
Here's the impossible question: would we have done it the same way, given the chance to redo it? Like, on one hand, we want to say we would do everything the exact same way because this is awesome, this stuff.
Yeah.
On another hand, though, like, everyone who backed it knows this campaign took double the length of time to fulfill.
Right.
It still hasn't fulfilled, but it's obviously now about to.
Because we have it all out there.
And it was way bigger than we respected and understood.
I think we would have. There's nothing we wouldn't have wanted to have made. We just may have had a different plan for. I don't even know.
Maybe splitting it up or something.
So that some people would get like the base game sooner. I don't know the answer to that, but I don't see anything here we wouldn't have wanted to have made at some point. It just
agree.
It's just it was just quite a bit of an effort for this.
Agree. All right, let's see if there's any last questions that came up. I think we're going to try to wrap up here. Shipping prices are insane now. Yep, unfortunately, that's still true globally. Messing with you guys, thank you. Yeah, no, we appreciate that, True Flight. Glad that you went in all in on the game. We are too. Thank you. Extra content, nice addition. Hitting 1 a.m. over in Europe. So thanks for being with
Yes,
us.
thank you.
Those of you in Europe, I
Very much appreciate
huge,
that.
huge appreciation for everyone who's been with us on this very, very long journey. What we can say is the next time around, Flutter, like I
Yep.
said, here we are opening the MPCs for this, and we've already delivered the digital files for Flutter.
Yeah.
So we're way, way ahead of the game there. And with future campaigns, we're going to be smarter. We learned a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, how many have we done? I mean, I think we've done
So
well.
fourth or fifth.
Yeah, but we've done well with what we've done. But yeah, every time we learn a little bit more. And also, even the stuff we learned from the first campaign, meant some of it's not as applicable now because the world's changing, times change, all prices are changing. So there's all kinds of things. So not only are we learning how to do it in general, but we're also just trying to make sure we're doing it right for the current time that we're in.
Yeah. Yeah, and everything ebbs and flows, right? And changes. So.
But we love doing it though. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I hope really comes across with this. We love doing this. If we didn't, I mean, like it really wouldn't be worth our time if we didn't love actually the process of doing it.
Oh,
wouldn't, So, and we're just glad that we can do this and that there are people out there who appreciate as much as us what I believe a fine product can be. We certainly love it. We like and Jason, you were the way you guys were so involved with all of the anomalies. I mean, that's something I was thinking you're going crazy, making so much like, oh no, more content. So we have so much content, and now we have.
Yeah.
I mean, this will definitely keep people busy for an extremely long time.
And that was a learning lesson for me. I think and Scott, like, of course our creative juices are just flowing. We're like, yes, a death I can't even say it. Death dodecahedron. And then like a drop gate and whatever. And each one individually
is
a mini game.
Yeah.
And we were proud of that at first. It's like, well, it's not just a card. It's a card with 3D components and maybe a metal thing and whatever.
And he printed
they're
something
more interesting, and each one's so different. And that's the good and the bad. The double-edged sword is each one was a mini game. So 18 is how many we developed.
And we have to test them to make sure they all work.
Exactly, and test them with each other. So it was a lot. But I mean, just super proud of the final product. Someone asked if they can get a quick just project status update. So here's where we're at. Obviously, we have the mass production copies.
Right.
In normal circumstances, we would get this before we gave the factory the green light to start mass producing. We were just the ebbs and flows of the project. We had no choice. We had already given them the green light. I was fairly confident, based on the PPCs, the pre-production copies, that we were in good shape. And the few things I had to tell them to tweak, I knew they were going to do. And they did. The quantity of the coaxi and the zest was one of the things. The white ships, they had to make them with a black background on the wood. Like, I knew they were going to be able to do those few things. So we were confident a month and a half ago, or whatever it was, that we said push the green button. So where are we at? Well, the good news is, I hope we can get this air shipment through to Essen so that we can fulfill the backers' copies of the backers who will be at Essen Spiel. Unless something goes wrong with customs in Germany, but let's hope it doesn't. So that really starts the fulfillment phase of this entire thing. Now, the factory is finishing the rest of the mass production. They'll be done. I forget the exact date at this point, but we're well within that 45-day window now, right? Because they're halfway done, so they might have another 20 days left or whatever it is. And then once that happens, we organize the ocean. We're organizing it now, but the ocean freight will start maybe 5-6 days after that, because the factory wants to get that stuff out of their building as well. They need the space. Right. And then the ocean freight may take anywhere from 20 to 60 days, depending on the region. Australia typically is upwards of 60 days. That's just what it is.
Right.
And then the fulfillment houses in the respective regions get their hands on their portions of the inventory, and they have to queue it up according to the projects that they have in queue. So once again, just because it reaches the the soil of your native land doesn't mean that you're going to immediately get it 2 weeks later, because now the fulfillment houses have their own project queues. So where are we at? Probably, where are we at? We're September 18th. I think it's reasonable to expect in some regions that over January timeframe, maybe some in December. Well, definitely some in December, because Asia, they'll start getting theirs sooner.
Right.
And then those who have to wait for the ocean freight will
Right.
be probably over January, February.
So
that's realistic.
I had two quick things to say. One thing is the one thing I guess I had a little bit of nervousness about was this.
The sun.
Only because can you imagine all this stuff and they got all of it so right. But this one thing, no matter how many times we explained what we wanted,
with pictures
and 3D renders, and it would come back I don't understand. So this one, but now we have it
somewhere.
That's right. That now we have it. And then the other thing, as we're talking about timelines and all stuff like that, one thing we also are very we think is very important, especially in the world of Kickstarters, where some Kickstarters go sideways or whatever. We are extremely, and we always plan to be extremely transparent, so that no matter what's going on, even if things are taking a little longer, you know exactly why. When we were going further with this stuff, we did get a lot of people were wondering, why is it taking long? But then when we explained, hey, look at this new thing we're doing, then people are seeing at least the time is being put into actually more content. And again, maybe we would do it a little bit differently, distribute it in time over differently, but I can assure you we wasted no time, and we were very open about everything we've been up to.
Exactly. The good news, super good news, is this is the first time we're opening these MPCs tonight live. Not a single thing that I have to go back to the manufacturer and have them fix. They fixed everything that they were supposed to.
It's all good.
I gotta verify every single quantity of everything, every little nav piece or whatever. But I think they've nailed it in this final version.
Yeah.
And that means no further delays in that regard.
Right. Nope. Now it's just all the other distribution issues.
Yep. So, with quite a substantial amount of people watching tonight, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. How many?
And there's still almost 20, but there were over 30, I think, earlier.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And then, of course, when we go out with it, then a lot more people will see it.
Absolutely. So, I think we'll sign off. I'm Jason with Face Shift Games.
Darren.
Thank you so much. And have an awesome night.
Good night.